Hey, so I want to go ahead and dispel a common myth. Now, I hear this a whole lot, and it's not only been disproven by my own experience, but also by the experience of other people that I've actually worked with firsthand. And that myth is that you can't book high paying clients because they're not searching on Google. So you just can't use Google to actually book those clients. Now, I've heard some people say this. I've actually there was one person that said this that was, a luxury wedding photographer that was booking. I don't know. I'm sure they're booking at least 15 to 20,000 average. And I had a person that second shot with that person say, actually, when I used to second shoot with them, they used to brag to me about how they got so many good bookings via Google. So that was the first instance that I ran into where I was like, man, there's something weird about this because I know for sure that you can book high paying clients. I myself have booked a client that they spent over 12, or excuse me, over 10,000 at least. And they actually wanted to end up spending, they wanted to spend around 20, I would say. I never did give them a full quote because I just didn't want to fulfill on everything. We've kind of really simplified our process, and we live in a rather low, I would say a pretty low end market. I mean, Louisville, Kentucky's not a super high end market. Now, this person that did book us via Google, their family has buildings named after them. Very, very wealthy family. They actually were using one of the most expensive wedding planners in the Louisville area, but they decided that they wanted to find their photographer via Google search. I had not worked with that planner prior to working with this couple. And again, this is, I would argue that this is, if not one of the top, probably top five wealthiest families in Louisville. So myself, I've seen that it's not true that you can't book via Google high-end weddings. Now you might be saying maybe you want to book 30, 40, $50,000 weddings. Unfortunately, I don't have a lot of experience with that. However, I've talked to there's a particular person I know that has booked up into the sort of like mid 30 range, and they were very interested in Google, not necessarily just for booking, but also for verification, where, couples may hear about you from a high-end wedding planner, but they're going to go verify on Google. They're going to try to make sure that they can find you and just learn a little bit more about you through there. And so the reasoning of, oh, we can't book high-end weddings off of Google. Why is that? Why are people saying that? And here's what I found to be the number one reason why people are saying that, if they're being honest. Again, I gave you an example of a person, and I'm not naming names because I'm not going to go that route, right? But I think some people are probably being disingenuous because they want to protect their market. Why are they going to go say, oh, yeah, I know where all the gold is? They want to keep that quiet to themselves. And honestly, when I first started ranking on Google, that was what I did. I didn't want other people to know what Google was doing for us because I didn't want to help my competition. I wanted to keep it secret. And so obviously I've grown past that, and I realized that sometimes it's better if we all grow together. That aside, the other reason that I think that people will say that you can't book high paying clients on Google is because a lot of times they're ranking for worthless keywords. Like, for instance, people will try to rank for things like luxury wedding photographer. The problem with that is hardly anybody's searching it. And even the people that are looking for a luxury wedding photographer, you have a better shot of connecting with those more than likely by ranking for a few things. Number one, just ranking for the general city or geographical area that you are located in or trying to work in. And then number two, ranking for other search terms that are related to, say, planners or venues. So you got to think, if you can be the apex of a wedding vendor that gets found even before the planners and vendors, and you have a strategy for them for that, then you're actually getting credence because you're able to refer to these higher end planners. And you got to think, are at some threshold, do people stop using Google? I would argue no. Number one, I gave you the example of the family, this bride and groom that come from very wealthy families. They were using Google. Is it just like you make so much money and you stop using Google? No, Google's actually probably the most authoritative source because you got to think it is based on authority, not quantity. Now, people that don't understand Google, they may not understand this, but Google is word of mouth. It is a referral system because Google's looking at your site, building trust, and then deciding to show you to people. So again, I would argue that if you think referrals and word of mouth are generally good, Google is that. So why would a person that makes a lot of money not use Google if it is more based on like a word of mouth / referral sort of algorithm, which that is what it is. So again, the claim is you can't book high paying weddings. And I gave you my example. I gave you an example of a person that does book up into the mid 30s, that they want to rank on Google for very specific reasons. And I said that it was for just to verify, for couples that want to go search, but also they wanted that for ranking for very particular areas where they knew they could add up to possibly hundreds of thousands of dollars to their yearly revenue. So it wasn't just to gain added referrals, it was also to actually book more through Google. But I said I also had examples of others. I've got examples of people. One person I know, their average client spend is, I want to say, right above $9,000. I know at this point that I'm recording this, they've booked up to a $12,000 client. And I want to say one person I worked with, I think, has booked up to an $18.9 thousand client. So, maybe you're saying, well, I want 30, 40, 50, $100,000 weddings. Is Google going to do that for you? I don't know. I actually don't know that. I don't know. However, what I do know is that largely what does the conversion is your website. And so this goes back to another reason why I think some people are using Google and not seeing results. Number one was because they're choosing keywords that are just nobody's searching it. Even the people that they think are searching that are probably searching more like geographical areas or venues or planners. The other thing is that, look, some people's websites just do a terrible job at conversion. I've seen gorgeous websites convert terribly, and I've seen uglier websites convert really well. So if we're not intentional about triggering dopamine in painting sort of an identity window through a website, you will have issue actually booking the dream clients. You have issues booking these people that you really want to be booking. So if you don't have good keywords and then a website that converts, you're going to have no luck with Google. And I've seen people do this. I've seen people rank and not get many clients through it. However, I've seen other people that rank for quality keywords and have a awesome system for booking because their website converts, that add a lot. I mean, we're talking, I know of one couple in particular that photographs weddings that went from $30,000 to $150,000 per year. And they're still increasing, right? And to me, I go, okay, the claim that you can't book these high paying clients on Google is at worst a lie, because people are trying to protect their lead sources. At best, it's just ignorance of Google, because myself, I've booked high paying clients. I know high earning photographers that want to rank on Google because they know the value of it. And I know other people that are booking up into the teens in terms of teens of thousands of bookings. So again, if you're saying, oh, a high paying client is $80,000, like, I just don't know. There's not a whole lot of people that are charging that much, number one. And those that are typically very, very established, right? And then number three, like, they're probably not really telling us where they're getting these bookings. And then it's also difficult. You take it a step further. It's like maybe a planner referred, a friend referred, and then they checked them out on Google. And so it's sort of one dimensional to just think of Google as like either you're going to get a booking or not through it. Sometimes it's the amalgamation of those different things. And I'll tell you another thing I've seen. By ranking on Google, it built massive authority and credibility with other vendors in that particular area. So again, that's tough to track. You say, okay, well, sure, maybe someone finds you through a vendor, but how do you know that your visibility on Google didn't influence that vendor, so they wanted to refer you? And I've seen that kind of stuff happen. Actually, the very wealthy couple that I worked with here in Louisville, that got me in front of that planner. And we did, of course, did a good job. And that planner started, referring us. Started considering us. Started, hey, you got this date available. And it was all because we actually gained the credibility because this bride and groom booked us, and gave us that opportunity to be in front of them. And so there's multiple ways that ranking on Google can actually lead to your bottom line increasing, your average spend increasing, because you've got more of a perceived atmosphere of authority, right? If someone's on the first page of Google, it automatically brings a level of perceived authority. So can you book high paying clients on Google? I would argue yes, but you have to have a few things in order. You got to rank for good keywords, and a lot of people don't. even if the ranking at all. And then you also have to be able to not only be able to rank for good keywords, but you also have to have a website that's going to convert really, really well. So hopefully that answers your question. Now, I do have a program that I help people rank on Google in 30 to 90 days, handhold, walk them through it, and then also help their websites convert, and then ensure that they have a system of booking those clients by continuing the perception of authority that they've gained both through ranking on Google and then having a high converting website. And our goal minimally for people that I work with is that they increase their yearly revenue by about 30 to 40,000 at least. We've done much more than that, but minimally we really want you to increase your yearly revenue by 30 to 40,000 minimum. And then also we want you to increase your average client spend, typically about 1.5x minimum. And we've had some people increase it 4, 5, 6. We maybe even had one person that increased about 7 or 8 times. So that program is only open by invitation, but if you're interested in that program, the best thing to do is click the link that's in the description below. That'll take you to that. Of course, it is an application process. We can't approve everybody, but if we can help you, we'd love to be able to chat with you and see if it's a good fit to get you ranking in 30 to 90 days. And the program basically is a money tree that pays for itself. So I hope this video has been interesting. Make sure you subscribe, leave any comments below that you think might be, helpful to this discussion. Obviously, do I have the whole picture on everything? I don't know. So love seeing the comments in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you've heard that you can't book using Google high-paying clients. Let me know if you have booked high-paying clients using Google. Love to hear from you in the comments. And until next time, it's been Jeff. Here's to seeing you rank on Google.